I'm Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and guest. So Tim, with those aside goals, I could not escape this time. And I think it is good that you pushed me. But guys, my name is Shilpoo, and it is my icebreaker. This is my first time public speaking, and I'm going to do and tell you about myself. And the way I'm going to explain about myself is I'm going to tell you about me and myself before coming to US and me and myself after coming to US. So before coming to US, as you can imagine, I'm from Netherlands. Actually, I'm from India. I was born in India, in northern part of India, near New Delhi, which is capital of India. I was born in a very hardworking, respectable family with 4 siblings. And most importantly, my parents were well educated. As we were in that society, we were middle class at best. We didn't have TV, we did not have car, or I would say AC, or any other modern facilities. But I would say I had the most wonderful childhood I could imagine and I could wish for in my life. We did not feel that there was anything we were missing because people around us were our toys, people were around us for our entertainment, extended family, and whatever we could use to make fun, be happy with, were our instruments. Now, in those parts of the world, education is a big key to the success to crack those barriers and come out of that struggle of the day-to-day life. And our family was not different. There was a big push in our family about education. Well, I was dictated, as many parents do in Asia, you will be either an engineer or a doctor. I said, okay, I will be an engineer. But what it also meant, to be an engineer, and with my family background, I could not go to private college. Private colleges are very expensive, no matter where you go. So I had to crack government public exams, where maybe for 1,000 seats, you would have 1 million students appearing for an exam, and there are 1,000 seats which are government sponsored, which are fully paid for. As luck would have it, I won the lottery for my parents, and I say it's a lottery because my whole 4-year engineering, education, dorm, food, my travel, books, everything included, it costed them $1,500 equivalent of money for 4 years, which was good. But at the same time, something very profound happened as I went to the college. I was in a very protected part of my family. I was in a particular region. And the moment I went to college, all of a sudden I was exposed to the diversity of India. The different people, different religions, different languages. And all of a sudden I found myself, oh my God, where I have come. It was a foreign land to me. Because the place I went to, that was almost 2,000 kilometers away from my home city. And the most important thing, or the most astonishing thing what I found is I could not communicate with everyone. The reason I could not communicate not because I could not speak, or I did not know a language. The language which was spoken in my region was different from all the students who were from different regions. That was a common problem among all of us. We all spoke different languages. India is a very diverse nation. So the common language there, the price from colonial era, is English. In my area, English was not that practiced, but because they had to teach all the students, English was the common language for the engineering courses, and I had to learn English. So my first brush with the diversity, to learn to coexist with the different walks of the people, the different part of the country, of the people, and learn English. I was very lucky that by the time I was completing my graduation, this whole Y2K was happening, the whole IT industry was evolving. Not many people get to see the chance in their lifetime where a whole new industry evolved. In this case, it was evolving, and I got 3 job offers when I got out of college. And my first job was in Bombay. Bombay is like what New York is to US. And oh my God, when I go to Bombay, it was my another step into another type of diversity. A complete contrast where you see very humble setting in the rural part of the tier 2 cities part of the country versus Bombay, which is high-rise. I saw first time buildings taller than 10 stories. I saw first time cities full of cars, first time elevator, first time aeroplane, so many flyovers, It was again, my God, it was a learning movement, it was a growth movement, but at the same time, it was my first brush with the professionalism, first brush towards how do you keep your promises and how you create a reputation for yourself, because now you're presenting yourself, and any decision and actions you make is going to be sticking with you because there's no one else to protect you, part of the larger family. Bombay was a great experience, and as I was developing multiple hobbies, I also picked up on reading the novels. And one of the novels I picked up was The Godfather from Mario Puzo. And that novel, whoever has read that novel, I must admit, once you start reading that novel, you cannot put it down. It's so nicely written. And there is something about mafia I always get drawn to, so I was all into it. But the most important thing which was to me was the vivid description of New York. The Pulaski Highway, the Pulaski Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge, the New York skyline, the Wall Street, the Long Island, and the fighting on the street. But the way they were described, I could just go there, I could imagine New York. And I said to myself, I wish I could go to New York. And I don't know, there's something about my wishes. 2 weeks later, I was called in my office and they said, you're going to New York. So I read the novel, I wished for it. 2 weeks later, I was told I was going to New York. I was very excited. That's where I transitioned from my life in India to US. I come to JFK, I get out, and oh my God, you think about going from home to college to Bombay, it's like you're coming to a polished Bombay, 10 times as bigger, and everything is at a grand scale. Meaning, I thought I saw the flyovers there in Bombay. In New York, everywhere there is flyover. You just cannot figure out where the end and start is. My first job was in Wall Street. And I used to take PATH train to the original World Trade Center, and I will walk there, and it was a moment of pride. A guy from a small town, from somewhere in the world, is standing in Wall Street. I cherished that moment every day, even today. And time flies. 12 years later, but I found myself having worked with very, very talented people, mentors, coach who polished me, took time and interest to make me who I am. But at the same time, on the personal front, some very important things happened. A guy who came with 2 suitcases to US had grown into a single-family house with a beautiful wife, Bharti, and 2 daughters, Mansi and Shruti, who keeps us busy, honest, driven, and full of life. But as, again, we were thinking and reflecting 12 years later, me and my wife, and we saw our daughters becoming great human being and learning all the good things and having access to all the convenience and the resources in life here. One day, one evening, we said, it would be good if we could go back to India and have these kids connect to our heritage and roots and see where we all come from. Again, something about my wish. 2 weeks later in my office, my boss said, hey, we are building a team in India. We want to send someone for 2 years there. Would you be interested? 2 suitcases, converted into a 40-foot container. We went to India for 2 years. And we had blast there for 2 years. We were worried about our daughters who had never seen or experienced the life there, the struggle, the competition and such. But what we found after we there, not only they connected with their extended family, their grandparents, and they saw the diversity and the different way of living. They were the most adaptable. They were the one who went there and adapted the most. Me and my wife, we discovered about ourselves that we had changed. Our liking, disliking, the way we think, the way we look at information, the way we value human beings and people around us, those values have changed, meaning in a good way. Because in many parts of the world, when you have too much population, certain things get overlooked. But anyway, we came back after 2 years after our assignment was over, and we came back with even greater gratitude and with this feeling of blessing that we are very blessed. We have access to 2 countries. We have access to 2 great nations. And on the same time, we also have access to the resources, the good part of the life on this earth where we have no excuse not to be even better and continue to be better. And same thing about our daughters. That comfort life or that sense of entitlement which we had slipped into in last 12 years, we came back and said we're going to improve over it. So I consider ourselves, as I look back, and I look now, life has been a blessing. Every time I wished for something, it just came true. And the reason I'm doing Toastmasters is I tell my daughters every day, go and conquer all these fears, and I realize that I haven't conquered on my own fear. That's why I'm doing this. So I'm trying to be bold here, and with that, I think that